Welcome back, folks, to Let's Replay Mystic Quest, and when last we left off, my voice is still on the mend, unlike Jim's armour, which was entirely unaffected by him wading through lava. It likely would have melted if it wasn't magical armour infused with the power of ice. Actually, it doesn't really matter that it's armour infused with the power of ice. It could have been bronze armour and it still wouldn't have melted. We're here in the undersea volcano, looking for the Guardian who's protecting the legendary sword, which the Gemma Knights used to defeat the Empire Van Dole in the past. We're going to need that sword if we're going to have a chance of defeating Julius now in the present. And so, let's move forward, and find an enemy that's really easy to defeat. And I highly hope that you did not, because if you'd have dropped a bag of Fang, I'd have been really disappointed. So let me get this straight, I can't get a bag of Fang until I get past the point where I need a bag of Fang? Absolutely right! And then we'd never progress. We're going to go over here quickly, because I believe there is a dead end of sorts. We have 195 health at the moment, but that is not enough to get through two small sections of lava, or rather a bit of lava which hits us twice, because we take a lot of damage just by walking into lava the tiniest bit, which makes sense. And unless we can get out of the lava extremely quickly, like here, we would die almost immediately. Would you like to come this way? Well, I'd like to destroy these rocks here, and I really don't want that item. Unfortunately, the game is not going to give me an option to get rid of it unless I leave the room and come back, whereupon it will disappear. And you saw that smash open there because this is a secret wall that you can get through the other side from as well. And once again, a treasure chest is blocking our way. Hopefully this time we really want to get out of this room, or at the very least heal up, because the combination of poison and lava is a bad combination. We want to head down right now, and here is a room that we're not even going to try and navigate, because you see that lava there? That lava will be the death of us if we try to get over it, because we can't get over it. And you really should have just gone immediately towards that fire spell, rather than zigzagging around. But hey, you hit the enemy eventually. We just need to be very careful if we want to hit these foes. Can we hit you now? We cannot. But basically, if we tried to walk through this lava, we get hit twice by it, and we would die. So let's not do that, and instead we'll go to the remaining room over here. We can use the Morning Star to avoid going into the lava, which is good. And over here is nothing. There are no hidden walls here, as you can see. There isn't one there. There also isn't one over here, and there isn't one over here. So your reward for going this way is a grand total of nothing. And fire. I don't know if that actually hit that enemy, but I'm not going to stay to find out, as we have other places that we need to be. We're going to go this way, and go back to the room where we had the choice of going this way or to the north, and we're going to go to the north. No enemies here, that's good. And there's an enemy here. Do not drop a bag of Fang. You did not drop a bag of Fang. That is good. And we'll take care of these rather easy enemies. I'm still surprised that the game is throwing such simple enemies at us, even at this point in the game. And here is another room where there is a very obvious hidden wall. Over here? Is there a wall that we can smash through? What a surprise! It's not like the game told us blatantly that this was so. It told us blatantly that this was so. We want to be very careful about navigating around here. Actually, this is not a bad idea. Just taking a few hits so that we can get onto this side of the area, so that we don't get knocked into the lava accidentally. We don't want to get knocked into lava accidentally. Maybe the Thunder Spear is a good idea to take care of these enemies. There we go. One is dead. And eventually you will die as well. And you will also perish. There we go. And you dropped an item, and if memory serves, the items that get dropped by these enemies are quite good. So we'll get rid of these keys and get an X-Ether. Always nice to get more X-Ether. And we are still not at the boss, although we're getting rather close. We definitely have Cure equipped, because I want to be at full health for heading into this area. Because what is this area? This area is a kind of maze. It's not much of a maze, but it is a maze. We can can go over here, and there are just some enemies that we can defeat. They don't really have any other purpose. There are no hidden walls that we can smash through here. There we go, we'll just hit you a few more times, and you are gone. But we gained a level up, and that's what we always want. We're going to gain some more power. 44 power, we're really strong, and we finally have over 200 health, which is awesome. We always wanted more than 200 health. We'll just take care of you as well, and move up. We can also go this way, and get hit by that enemy. But that's alright, because we'll poke this enemy with a thunder spear, and then the enemy will be dead. Carefully does it, and we can barely see. That's alright though, because the enemies are still really obvious in here. And the skeletons are even more obvious in here. I'm surprised the game didn't start doing things like having the skeletons animate themselves and attack you at this point in the game, but they just don't do that, they're just there for decoration. Just to show that there are various adventurers that have tried to enter this cave, but have failed, for one reason or another. Or maybe they're the remnants of glaive soldiers that also failed to uncover the legendary sword, because I imagine Cibba is not the only person that knows the location of the sword. Other people will have tried, and they'll definitely have failed. Also, there are a lot of X-ethers here. A lot of them. We're going to heal up to full, and see if we can get rid of any other items. We could get rid of this here, and we could actually equip one of these, and just use it, and then get one to replace that one, and then we'll get another to fill up our inventory with X-ethers. Definitely better than X-cures. Over here is a route where we can go one of 3 directions, and the Thunder Spear is really good at taking care of those enemies. Over here is another route where we can go multiple directions. We could go down here. Is there anything down here? There is another pair of doors. And up here, I bet there are even more doors. There are just lots of doors here. And we're going to be exploring pretty much all of them because we don't know if any of these hide weapons or armor or any kind of secrets. We can always do with more elixirs after all. Just to hit you and you are gone. And where did you go? You went over here. Bad news for you, I'm afraid. You're about to perish. And perish that monster did. And I don't have the Cure Magic equipped. No, I don't, because I used an X-ether. Now I do! Let's move on. Down here is a healing pond. Marvellous, we could always do with more MP. I'll remember where that is, and it's unlikely to have any bearing on the rest of my exploration, because we don't need to come back here ever again after we've got the legendary sword. What is in here, I wonder? We're going to find out. Just going to hit that enemy there, and we can hit you with the Thunder Spear, which is really good. Are there any secret walls? Not here, not here, and not here. But those rocks look very suspicious. So I'm going to use the Morning Star here. Nothing there. Nothing here. Nothing there. Is there anything over here? There is! There are some stairs down, but I'm going to actually explore around the other areas first before I go that way. Mainly because there might be something secret hidden away that I really would like to get. An awesome piece of armor. Maybe an ice helmet, because I don't have an ice helmet. I believe there is an ice helmet somewhere in the game. Ooh, do not step into that lava. That is a poor idea, Jim. You will perish if you keep doing that. Just going to wait very patiently, and you eventually came to us, and we took a tiny amount of damage when you rammed into us. This area leads to nowhere in particular, so we're going to go up instead, very carefully avoiding, ooh, another locked door. We're not going to avoid the locked door, we're going to go into the locked door. Anything in here? The answer is even more enemies for us to defeat. And I imagine this isn't going to go anywhere important, but we're going to have a look anyway. It's best to be thorough, especially after I missed the blood sword. I'm really sad that I missed the blood sword. I do think you get another opportunity to go and get the blood sword, but it's far later in the game, and by then I do think we have better weapons that we can use. Alright, over this way, and over here are some enemies that will drop keys and mattock. Excellent! We need keys after all, and we also need Mattock. Actually, we don't need either of those, because we have lots of keys and we have the Morning Star. So we're going to go back this way, and we're going to use those stairs that we found. They were... oh, careful, these enemies can inflict Moogle, we really don't want them to do that. And we'll head down here. I believe it was down here and this way? It was this way. Hello, enemies that are back. We'll just defeat you easily enough. A few hits, and you are dead. And we'll reveal those stairs once more, and head down into the even darker depths that I imagine are quite well illuminated. And here are 3 doors that we can go into. It's not as tricky as you'd think, picking which door you need to use, because they don't make you backtrack a significant distance if you pick the wrong one. Like if we pick the left-hand door here, there are some pots, and the pots I don't think do anything. And there are some enemies for us to defeat, which is fine, we can easily defeat these enemies. Being very careful not to get knocked into the lava. Fortunately you are invulnerable after... level up. Excellent. Fortunately, you're invulnerable after you get hit, but you really want to get out of the lava before you get hit again. We'll gain some wisdom. We could always do with even more spell points after all. This enemy is being very awkward in where it's going, but that's fine, because we can defeat this enemy anyway. Goodbye, enemy! And over here are even more enemies. Are you seeing a trend with this dungeon? You should, because this dungeon is just full of enemies. There are far harder enemies that the game will throw at us by the time we're at the end. These enemies aren't that difficult in comparison. And in here, even more enemies to defeat. You may notice that we're sort of backing up on ourselves. We went in one direction and headed down, and now we're heading across and we're about to head back up. There is a reason for this, and you'll find out in a moment once we head up. Just got to defeat this enemy. And once again, I do not have Cure equipped. I do now, though, so we're going to move up and head to some stairs up. Now, you may think that this leads to progress. I suppose that's technically accurate, because once we go up these stairs, we can head in the right direction to get to the boss. Unfortunately, that direction is going to lead us to an area that we have already been to. That area being... these 3 doors. So these 2 doors are connected to each other, but this door leads to progress, so we're going to go this way instead. Down here are some more soldiers from Empire Glaive, which is fine because we can defeat them very easily with the Morning Star. Always better to have the Morning Star equipped because it hits both the warriors and the wizards. And you definitely want to hit the wizards. There we go, the wizard is gone. And we just need to wait for you to move away from that treasure chest. And we need to drop something so that we can actually open the treasure chest. What do we want to drop? And I see an inventory full almost entirely of X-Ethers. Do you know what? Let's drop the X-Cure, shall we? We don't need an X-Cure. And we got an X-Ether for our trouble, because we need more of them, the game said. We're going to head into here. And there are 2 routes that we can go. What is to the left, I wonder? To the left is absolutely nothing. I highly doubt that any of these walls will reveal any secrets, but we'll certainly check. Nothing there. We'll just defeat you very quickly. There we go. Nothing down. Oh, careful. Do not get knocked into the lava, Jim. That would be bad for you. Just defeat you. Might as well defeat all the enemies before we go and explore here. Don't want to die, especially at this point. Nothing here, and nothing there. This room just has enemies if you need to gain more experience. Hello, you! How are you? The Thunder Spear kills you. That's brilliant to know. Maybe the Thunder Spear works just like the Silver Sword, and we need to use ice here, because I remember this puzzle. We need to freeze 2 snowmen and use them to activate these switches, which means that we need an enemy up here, specifically not in the rocks, because if an enemy is in the rocks, it won't be able to be pushed over to that switch. We're going to have to wait a fair bit. For now, we're just going to kill this enemy, because this enemy is very unlikely to go where we need it to go. Alright, patience is what's needed here. Eventually one of the enemies is going to go to the upper part of the screen, and then we shall turn it into a snowman. And only then will we be able to progress. I think we're actually right near the end of the dungeon. Unfortunately, we're waiting on random chance right now. If you don't mind, could you go up here? Yes, just like that, but you have to be more over in this direction. Yes, that's perfect. A little bit higher up. Why aren't you going any higher up? I need you over here. It's like you can't understand me or something. Just a little higher up. Please? Please? Yeah, you, just go up a bit more. None of these enemies are going to go up a bit more, are they? I'd actually settle for the enemy being, in this area, but a little bit more to the left. None of the enemies are actually doing what I want them to do. You know what? Oh, I accidentally threw a Spiritu rather than froze you. We can work with that one there. We just need to very carefully kill this foe. And you're going to head over here, which is good, because one more hit and you will be dead. As long as you're not right next to a snowman. There we go. We can push this snowman to where we need it to be. A little bit up here, and then over here. Puzzle solved. We can now destroy the snowman. And here is where the boss is. We don't want ice equipped, we definitely want cure equipped. And we, I do believe, want the Morning Star equipped rather than the Thunder Spear, because the Morning Star can hit this boss multiple times. We definitely want cure though. Cure is very handy. Saving is even handier. There we go. For in here is one of the easier bosses in the game. This boss has a very easy attack pattern. It either runs across the top of the screen, or it turns into a flaming ball and bounces around the battle area. That's all it does. There are no ranged projectiles, there are no other tactics that it uses, this is all it does. And I believe the enemy is called Iflyte or something? I think it's Iflyte, which I think is a poor translation of Ifrit, but I could be wrong. Maybe this enemy is Iflyte. I've never heard of Iflyte in any other game. Maybe this is a unique enemy to Mystic Quest. But it's not likely. It's likely just mistranslated. And so, all we're going to do is defeat this enemy very slowly. Much like how we slowly navigated through this dungeon, we just need to very slowly defeat this foe. For we have seen everything that this boss can do. There are no more surprises here. This enemy may be wreathed in fire and may be bouncing around this arena, but it's doing so very slowly and in a very easy to predict pattern. And of course, by saying that, I'm going to be hit by it at some point. It does hit rather hard if you do get hit by the boss, but we have so much healing and so many X-Ethers that I don't think we're going to lose to it anytime soon. You'll hear that sometimes, and we just got hit. Of course I'm going to get hit at least once, but it really wasn't that deadly. I got hit twice there, and that was maybe for only about 120 health in total, and we have 212, so we're in no danger of dying, unlike when we fought the Lich, when we could have died at any point. To be fair, we fought the Lich before we were meant to, but even compared to some of the more difficult bosses we've encountered, this one is really nothing. Even compared to some of the easier bosses we've encountered, I'd actually say that the vampire was more difficult than this one, because it moved around the screen faster and the bats were very dangerous. This one has nothing really to worry about. It's very slow, its attack pattern is very obvious, and there are no ranged projectiles. If it was spitting fire at us while it was at the top of the screen, it would be much more dangerous. But that does not happen. So we're just going to very slowly defeat this Guardian. It's a good thing we got here first, because if anyone else had got here, they'd have been, they'd have had no problem defeating Iflyte here. Iflyte has been defeated, and we got the Rusty Sword. Wait, Rusty? Rusty Sword? Is this the Excalibur? Yes, Jim, yes it is. This is the weapon that we're going to use to defeat Julius. A rusty sword. For comparison's sake, we're going to equip the Ice Sword here, which has 84 attack power right now, and then we're going to equip the Rusty Sword, which has 20 less at 64. But hey, at least it's slightly better than the Silver Sword, eh? it's a rubbish weapon. And we're going to leave now, because we don't ever have to go back to this dungeon ever again. And while we could use Ask to just quickly get back, we're actually going to fight the enemies here, because we need more money, and we need more experience. And we also need to be very careful of these foes, because they're still quite dangerous. Not too dangerous, though. We'll just equip the Morning Star again, so that we can get past this area. Kapow! And move forward. Hello, enemies that are now really easy compared to what we just did, because we were in an undersea volcano, and undersea volcanoes are always difficult. And we have Cure Equipped, always handy. Hello, you! Goodbye, you! We're going to head back to Lorim so that we can talk to Cibba, because I do believe Cibba is still at Lorim at this point, and this is when the game goes, actually, he went to this location. And then we have to go to that location. I believe we're heading 2 chests. We don't really need either of them. We are heading this way. Kapow! 1 extra level up. We wouldn't have got this level up if we'd used Chocobot to quickly get past this area. We'll gain even more power. We now have 221 max health, and we could sell some of our things here. Selling some of our things here is probably a good idea. What do we want to get rid of? We want to get rid of this key 1, because we can get a key 4 elsewhere. We also want to get rid of, not the elixir, that is really expensive as you can see. Silver Sword will hold on to the flame armor. I feel like getting rid of the flame armor. Do you know what? We're going to get rid of the flame armor, just so that if we pick up any other weapons, we can have them. There we go, we have even more money now. I don't know if we need this money anymore, but we might as well have it. And you are gone. And up here we go. We're not actually that far away from getting out of this area. We need to use this small bridge and navigate on this side, killing everything that we encounter, and heading this way. I do believe heading this way is the thing we need to do. Then again, this way may be the wrong way. We might have to head down, and then this way. This seems like... Nope, it doesn't seem like we are going to be heading that way at all. And for some reason there, the controls were locked in the right direction. I have sorted it, though. Actually, remember where we do need to go now. I think we do actually want to head up. We do want to head up a bit. And this way. This is very likely not to be true. We might actually want to head a completely different route. Yep, we want to head a different route because this is where the item shop is. Then again, we could always go to the item shop. We could always head in that direction and get some more keys. We need to check what other things we need to get as well. We need to get just some more keys. We can get some more keys. That's fine. After we defeated these enemies and paid for those keys. Hello there. Howdy. Would you like to buy some keys? How did you know? That's all anybody ever buys here. Well, goodbye. And thus we left. And we're going to head this way now. Up. Hopefully up will take us where we need to go. It may do, but it's very likely not to as well. Up will bring us to here. And then we'll go and follow these massive shells. They are really big. I really think we're not meant to be going this way. Oh no, wait, we are meant to be going this way. I was right, because this way leads to where we used to get onto the sea. We just need to head a little bit more this way, and be very careful of all these enemies, because that is where we need to go. And to get there, we need to cross over this body of water. That's okay though, we have the perfect item to do that. The Flame Whip. Let's equip the Flame Whip, and propel ourselves across the water, and then immediately, might as well actually equip the Thunder Spear at this point. Why not, eh? It's a really good item after all, does a lot of damage, and we nearly have 30,000 gold. I don't think we ever need to use the gold ever again. We need to be very careful though, because these enemies do hurt. But that is irrelevant, as we have now reached the water. And now that we've reached the water, we can go and leave this area. We'll never be back here as far as I know. Go, Chocobot! Take us to a different area. How about Wendell? Wendell seems like a good place to go. Why not? We're going to go, I think, up here. This will lead us to this area, which has no purpose at all. And we're very close already to where we need to go. If we head up here, across, and then up some more, up a little more, and we are right at Wendell. Excellent. Might as well use the inn while we're here. There we go. And the inn will always be 10 GP. Handy, because we have 29,088 GP. Howdy, looks like you survived the undersea volcano. I have the legendary sword. That looks like a pile of garbage. Good morning. And when we come back, folks, we're going to go and find Cibba in Lorim, and we'll show him the legendary sword. And hopefully he'll have something to clean up the legendary sword, or something to awaken its full power, because clearly it doesn't have its full power yet. Either that, or Cibba is just playing a massive joke on us, and he'll then reveal that he had the legendary sword all along. Something like, the true test is that you went out and tried to get the legendary sword. I have 17 legendary swords, I've been farming them. Here, have one of them. Actually, have 3 of them. Dual wield them and have Chocobo carry one of them in its beak. I'm sure you'll be absolutely fine. I don't think that's what's going to happen, but it might. So I'll catch you next time, folks, and I'll see you then. Later.